Hello, welcome back to Justin Talks Villa. If you're new, please subscribe to the channel and drop me a comment and drop this video a like. It would be very, 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 very much appreciated. My glasses are wonky. Hope you're all well on this fine day. It's nice out here today. And I've got a few things to go through. It's been an incredibly quiet week at Aston Villa. Hardly any news coming out from the club, because we're all awaiting the big announcement on the 30th as to have we complied with PSR, and if we have, how have we done it? Obviously, there's a couple of ways around it: player sales or circumnavigating using clever accounting, which is my preferred option, I think, which is the way it's going to go. It's pretty much out there what the club are looking to do, but I will talk about it when it happens and give my opinion. So, what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about a few subjects today. One of the first things I want to talk about is the continued media trying to sell our players. So we've got Tom Colomos, if that's correct, constantly trying to sell our players. So we've got Martinez, Watkins, Ramsey, Rodgers, Luca Dean, all in one tweet there, all potentially being sold. We've also got him with this article about Ollie Watkins, Arsenal interest. And the one that's really, really annoyed me the most is
Morgan Rodgers. Many questions on that one. Aston Villa.
So he put this video out a couple of days ago, and it's really annoyed me. Just have a listen to it, and then we'll have a chat about it.
On the situation of Morgan Rodgers, many questions on that one. Aston Villa would love to keep the player at the club because he's considered as a crucial player for Unai Emery, who wants the player to stay at Aston Villa. But many top clubs keep following the situation of Morgan Rodgers. In case Aston Villa could decide to open the doors to an exit, be ready, because many top clubs are following the player. So Morgan Rodgers has many suitors this summer. Villa insist they don't want to sell him, but let's see what's going to happen in the next days and weeks of the summer transfer window, because Morgan Rodgers is attracting a lot.
I mean, for me, it's just a load of bluff. It's utterly pointless. The only benefit to putting this video out is to try and sell the player, unsettle the player. I just don't understand why on earth this continues to happen. I can only imagine that he's been sort of nudged from behind to sort of unsettle the player. I mean, if you start with what he says.
On the situation of Morgan Rodgers, many questions on that one. Aston Villa would love to keep the player at the club because he's considered as a crucial player.
So he starts with Aston Villa want to keep him at the club. He's considered a crucial player. Yeah, we know that. So I would imagine on the list of players currently in our squad, he's probably at the very, very bottom of players they are willing to let go. So that should have been the end of the video.
For Unai Emery, who wants the player to stay at Aston Villa.
So Unai Emery wants the player to stay at Aston Villa. So the club want to keep him at the club. The manager wants to keep him at the club. But still, we've got to add this in afterwards.
But many top clubs keep following the situation of Morgan Rodgers.
Obviously, many top clubs are following the situation of Morgan Rodgers because Morgan Rodgers is an absolutely wonderful footballer. But he's not going anywhere.
In case Aston Villa could decide to open the doors to an exit.
He's already said at the start, Villa don't want to sell, and Unai Emery doesn't want to let him go. So why would the club open up options to sell him? It makes no sense. The only circumstance I could ever see Morgan Rodgers going this summer is if we got a world record amount for him. And that's just not going to happen. As good as he is, you know, if they got a ridiculous offer that they couldn't say no to, which every player has, 150 million quid, obviously he'd go.
Be ready, because many top clubs are following the player. So Morgan Rodgers has many suitors this summer.
We know he's got many suitors. We know. If he was put on the open market, he'd probably have 20 clubs wanting him.
Villa insist they don't want to sell him, but let's see what's going to happen.
They insist they don't want to sell him, but let's see what's going to happen. Sorry, Fabrizio. I admire what you've done. I admire the brand you've built. I admire how you've become the main man when it comes to transfers. But please, please, please stop putting these videos out with players that are blatantly not for sale and blatantly aren't going to leave the club. Right, that's my first rant over with. Let's move on to the next one, which is this absolutely ridiculous story that came out this week. Substituted players to be interviewed during Premier League games next season. Where do you start with this? I understand that content is king. I can hardly disagree with that because of what I do and what I love doing, talking about the game. But for me, this oversteps the line. It is absolutely ridiculous. Can you imagine the amount of potential issues this could raise? Especially in a big, big game when there's high stakes. You know, players are already talking like this all the time. So you imagine a player coming off in one of those games and all of a sudden he gets a microphone shoved in his face and he's expected to give an interview. Imagine Jhon Durán being given an interview after being hauled off with his temperament. So what are they going to do? They're going to pick and choose which players? It's just too much. It's too far. We know that football is run by the money men. We know that. We know what football is these days. It is all about money and revenue and generating revenue, keeping eyes on the game, trying to think of new ways to bring more people into the game to watch it. But this is too much. It's too far. We've got VAR, we've got cameras, we've got everything we need to try and enjoy 90 minutes of football. What we don't need is the audio to cut away to talk to one of the substitutes that's come off. There's no need for it. Stop it, please. Stop Americanizing football. I mean, the Club World Cup, which I haven't watched a minute of. Apparently, I was told the other day that they're introducing the players individually before the game, like a I don't know, basketball game. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it has to stop. This cannot happen. I'm sure it will because the money men want it to happen. But I'm so anti this. It's unbelievable. You're going to have cameramen. You're going to have additional reporters now on the touchline where they're going to do these interviews. They can't sit in the dugouts. The dugouts are packed as it is with 47 coaches and staff already with, 9 substitutes as well. It's just ridiculous. What more do they want? What more? I mean, I've seen it a bit in non-league, and it works sort of okay in non-league because there isn't the profile there, and they're trying to just talk to it. It's okay, but even then, it comes across as difficult when the manager's walking on after his halftime team talk, and he's got a microphone shoved in his face, and he's asked, "So what are you going to do in the second half? Then you're 2-0 down. What are you going to do?" Well, we're going to try and turn it around. Do you want me to tell you the full tactical debrief I've just given the players? Absolutely and utterly ridiculous. Second rant done. Let's talk about something a bit nicer. So back to the drone stuff. So I have been down Villa Park this morning and I've done an update on the drone stuff. So I've done 2 videos actually. So the first one, I've already done the talk over, so I won't have to talk during it. I'll just take these off so you can see it better. So I'll shove it on the screen now and let myself do the talking, which I did earlier. Hello. That worked well. This is my drone footage from this morning. The update on the warehouse. So there's not been a lot of work on the actual site of the new warehouse project over the last couple of weeks. And for obvious reasons, Villa Park has been turned into a concert destination this summer. So I think it has led to the stalling or the postponement of the works whilst they are having the concerts at Aston Villa. And you'll see in a minute when I fly over Villa Park that they are busily preparing for the Black Sabbath final gig at Villa Park on Friday the 5th of July. So not much work to talk about at the warehouse. So as we start to fly above Villa Park, you'll see the stage is coming on. for the original Black Sabbath lineup of Ozzy Osbourne, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler and Bill Ward, who will play for the first time in 20 years. The band will take to the stage to headline the Back to the Beginning concert at July the 5th. As you can see, there are 9 Arctic lorries currently getting the stage ready for the weekend. It will also see groups such as Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, Hailstorm, Toon, Tool, Lamb of God, Anthrax and Mastodon. Apologies if I've butchered any of the names of those bands. It's not really my genre of music, but fair play to anybody that's going, and we'll be seeing Black Sabbath for the final time at Villa Park. It's very interesting to see the transformation from football ground to concert venue, and something that really has been underused over the last few years. So something else which I thought I would do, because I don't think I've done it before, while I was flying over, and I realised that there wasn't a lot to see for the warehouse, was Aston Old Hall. So taking the opportunity to have a quick fly over the top of this beautiful building in the heart of Birmingham and Aston, very historic Aston Old Hall, which has been in Birmingham for more than 400 years. It is one of the last great houses built in the Jacobean style. I'm no expert on this, I am reading this, so to be clear. And it's also said to be one of the most haunted buildings in the UK. So if you love your ghost hunting, get yourself down to Aston Old Hall. But it's a beautiful building. I mean, the grounds are absolutely stunning, so well kept. And as you'll see as I pan round, you've got the beautiful old Aston Hall right next to Villa Park. I do believe, and I might be corrected on this, but Villa Park was built on the lower grounds, which is why we call the lower grounds, which used to be a part of Aston Hall. And something I have to say I wasn't aware of was that there is a wonderful cricket pitch as well, with a lovely pavilion there, which is lovely. There's the church as well, just finishing a service Sunday morning. So there we have it. Aston Villa, Aston Old Hall, and the preparation for the concert at the weekend. There we go. That was all right, wasn't it? Yeah, so there's not a lot of work going on at the warehouse, as I said in the video. So I just had a quick fly around. Hope a bit about the concert stuff was interesting, and I'm quite into my history, so that was interesting, having a fly over Aston Hall as well. But I was also, while I was up in the air, I decided to do a little video on something else which is upcoming as well, which is the redevelopment of the WITTON station. So I took the drone up again, and I had a quick video of where the improvements are going to be, and a few little ideas of what could be to come in the near future. So I'll just put this up now. Hello. So I decided to do another little video while I was down there this morning, something I've not really looked at from above, and it is the new inner city training complex that Villa built, I'm going to say about 2 or 3 years ago now, on a plot of land they owned already, which was used mainly for car parking on match days. So this is the facility that Villa have built, a big indoor training pitch. Apologies for the videoing. And something I didn't realise, again, until I went up, was there's a pitch behind the indoor facility as well, which they were using today. It's a huge area. And something that's very interesting as well, something that I think I'm going to come on to now as well, was having a look at WITTON Station from above as well, and the potential of the improvements that are going to come here. So if you look at where this inner city training centre is, and the road on the top left hand side of the screen as you're looking at it now, there is potential, and I think I've seen footage of it and pictures of it, of connecting the training facility via maybe a tunnel underneath the train tracks, so you can walk from one to the other without having to go along the road on the top right hand side, which is the usual way fans walk to the ground. But if we just look at WITTON Station for a second, you can definitely see it is hugely in need of an upgrade. Very, very poor facilities for a station that is servicing Aston Villa on a match day, and the amount of people that use it. I mean, the ramps are inadequate. The width and length of the walkways that people stand on waiting for trains are very much inadequate as well. So it's really going to need a huge upgrade here. I picked my daughter up from the Chris Brown concert the other night, and the queues were absolutely enormous. So if we're going to continue to use Villa Park for those kind of events, and obviously with the up and coming warehouse as well, which is going to be hosting events there, albeit on a smaller scale of around 4,000, then, you know, having these improved transport links, you can see, is such an important part of upgrading the area, and not only for Villa but for local residents as well. So there is quite a bit of scope if you look either side of the tracks there, and the car park there on the right hand side. You know, you could eat into that a little bit without having to worry too much about the left hand side, which is obviously a bit more residential. But, you know, it definitely needs upgrading. You know, that if you look towards the bottom of the screen where the tracks disappear, there's quite a bit of area there they could use to improve and lengthen the sidings for people to stand on. And then if you come down here, you can see obviously the inner city training facility there, and the pitch that's behind the indoor pitch. And what I'm going to do now is come down to where, if you look back at some of the pictures, potentially there could be an exit at the end of this dead end road here, which would allow, I would think, much easier disembarking from the trains and use of this road. Again, you've got to be very careful with local residents and people that have obviously lived there for a long time, but it's only going to be used match days and concert events. So you're looking at, you would say, maximum 30 times a year. But if you could get rid of those trees there, and then as we turn around, you can see, I do lift the camera up in a sec, so you can see that that would be a direct route straight up to Villa Park, and where the warehouse is. So you can see there the trees at the bottom there, that is where you could easily have an access point off the trains, and then straight up this road here onto where the new super warehouse and area is going to be for pre-match, post-match and events. Much improved area. And I wonder what they're going to do with the car park as well, which is currently obviously used on match days as an auxiliary car park area and for away fan coaches. But it is, again, another unused area most of the year round, so that could even be used as well. So there we go. I hope you thought that was interesting. I definitely thought it was interesting because I had a really good look while I was up there at everything that is planned to happen, and I think it makes a lot of sense to obviously elongate the tracks, hopefully widen them as well, where people stand, and if you can have that access point as well by those trees there where I highlighted, then I think it would be absolutely fantastic. Yes, so I did find some pictures of what I meant by, so that road I was talking about is this road here. So effectively, you would the train tracks across the top. That's where the train is. It comes into, but you got all the trees here normally. So you would have this added walkway, which would walk through to. Is a zoomed in version. It's a little bit blurry, but so this would go straight through to where the inner city training ground is. So we allow access for people parking there on a match day to walk through. And then you would have exits from Witton Station, I would think, coming out here as well, and allowing a more flowing footfall to come through here and up this road to the new opened out area of the warehouse. So I think it all adds to a much more fluid and hopefully easier system of transport links in and out of Villa Park. So yeah, I just thought it was very interesting. So hope you've enjoyed that bit as well. Right, next one. Let's get into it. I'm not going to dwell too much on this one, but it is just something I found interesting this week. I'm not going to go into his character or anything, but Jhon Durán seems to be heading out of the Saudi Pro League for many reasons. Everybody knows more or less why, fallout, and he's off to Fenerbahce, and it's looking like people are telling me a loan deal, but I'm just interested that if it isn't a loan deal, and I do want to get rid of him permanently, I do wonder whether Aston Villa have inserted some kind of, hopefully, a sell-on clause into his deal, because at 21 years of age, he got a big, huge chunk of his career ahead of him. And obviously, if he'd have had a massive impact over there, he could have gone on to maybe come back to Europe, to one of Europe's big clubs, which a lot of people think he's capable of playing at, if he improves his attitude, that was. So I would think maybe there would be a sell-on clause there. So I'd be interested just to see, once it's confirmed, whether or not we do have that sell-on clause. But obviously, if it's a loan, we're not going to get that money in. But it could be another help for us, couldn't it? So we are almost there now. I am going to talk about two more things before we go. And the first one is a chap that came to see me at work the other day. He's emailed me a few times, and he came to see me at work the other day, and it is basically a fan of the pod, and he said he'd got quite a bit of memorabilia. So he came and he showed me some absolutely fantastic pictures. So I'm going to just share a few of them with you now. I'll take that off so we can see them a bit better. So this is the first one, and this is before the Trinity Road was upgraded to the new one that we see now. So as you can see, the old wooden slats there with the North Stand there as well. And then we've got a nice picture of the current North Stand, which is obviously due for an upgrade. This great picture of the players coming out of the tunnel with the old, well, it's actually the upgraded Doug Ellis stand at this point, but as you'll see in the next picture, I think it looks like Spurs. I'm going to say that's Spurs. It looks like David Howell's era, Sol Campbell, potentially. I might have got that wrong. That looks like Dean Saunders and Darling Atkinson. So I think we're in and around that era. And as you can see, great picture of the Doug Ellis stand that is under construction, with the bottom tier being finished and the top tier not being finished. Now, his aunt, who gave him all these pictures, was the chairwoman of the South African Supporters Association, and Aston Villa apparently went out there to play, and she met all the players, and he's got some fantastic pictures that she has given to him to look after. Players like this, Dean Saunders, and the late great Darling Atkinson, Another fantastic picture here of the training team training. I think we can see Guy Whittingham. That looks like Andy Townsend, Fernando Nelson, Steve Staunton, Tony Daly, Paul McGrath. That looks like Sid Cowens. I'm not sure whether that is Neil Cox or potentially, I don't know. It's just a little bit too blurry. Could be Gary Parker. I'm not sure that's right. But yeah, some fantastic pictures. And this one is one of my favourites that he had. Absolutely brilliant picture of the greatest Aston Villa player with Tony Daly, a young Tony Daly there, and God himself, Paul McGrath. So yeah, I just wanted to really say thank you to Graham really for coming and showing me these brilliant pictures. I'm gonna have to move this a little bit because there's a couple of things here I wanted to show you. He had a couple of duplicates, and he very kindly gave me these. So one of them was a small Villa pendant. So that was probably back in the 90s. Really nice. That is. It's such good condition as well. And a near, I'm going to say, pristine Aston Villa and Muller team photograph from 94-95. Just look at that squad. Look at the players in that. Gary Parker, Andy Townsend, Sean Teal, Fashioner, McGrath, Hugo, Dave Farrell, Graham Fenton, Guy Whittingham, Spinky Bosnich, Brian Small, Earl Barrett, Staunton, Phil King, Atkinson, Saunders, Michael Oakes, Big Ron, Richardson, Houghton, Neil Lamptey, and Dwight York. Neil Lamptey, what a player he was, eh? Love to get him on the pod. So yeah, thank you, Graham, and I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a look back at some of the pictures from the past. So one more thing before I go, and it's just to highlight my chat, which I'm having tomorrow, Monday the 30th of June, with my friend and Aston Villa total legend. I use that word quite a lot when I talk to players because I'm just in awe of most of them, to be fair. Jim Walker, one of the nicest, kindest men, not just in football, but in general, I've ever met in my life. I've been privileged enough to know him for a very long time now and spent many, many an hour in his company listening to his huge amount of stories from not only his playing days, which a lot of people don't know a lot about, when he won the league under Brian Clough with Derby, but also his time at Villa for decades being the main man physio at Aston Villa. I can't wait to talk to him tomorrow, and I am also very proud to say that he has wrote a book, something I've also been on him for many, many years to do, in conjunction with Rob Bishop, who's writing it, and I will be pushing that over the next few months once it's available. Pre-orders will be out soon, and as soon as they come out, I will drop it in one of the podcasts, and I'll drop the links to it as well. It's not going to be a lot of money, about £10, I believe, not confirmed yet. But what is very, very important is every single penny is going to a dementia charity. And to me, that's very close to my heart. My mum's been diagnosed with dementia a couple of years ago. So it's a charity very, very close to my heart. And I know it is to Jim's as well. So once this interview is out, we're going to chat a bit about that tomorrow as well. I will be getting him back on to talk about the book. So you can have a lot of Jim Walker content over the next few weeks. And I am not apologising for that for one iota, because he's a brilliant, brilliant man. And, you know, these kind of stories have to be out there, in my opinion. So I'm really looking forward to talking to Jim tomorrow. So that's it. Podcast done. Haven't been a lot to talk about this week, but I think I found a few interesting subjects to keep us going until the news drops, hopefully, that we are PSR free and we can get on with our summer transfer business. So I'm sure that'll happen over the next 24 hours or so. So I will jump back on and have a chat about that when it does. So once again, thank you so much for your support, comments, messages, coming to see me at work, bumping into me in the most random of places. It's just been absolutely brilliant. So yeah, please subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed the content. Lots more to come. drop me a comment in the comment section. justintalksvilla@yahoo.com if you need to get in touch with me about anything like Graham did. There are subscriptions available, memberships available to the channel if you fancy helping me try and grow this channel to as big as it can possibly be. Thank you all again. Love you all, and I'll speak to you all soon. Up the mighty Aston Villa.
We'll be right back.